Hello and welcome back to WesteroSCraft Walks. I'm your host, Chris the Gardener, and today I have a guest with me. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Anthony Jasman. I'm the project leader of House Parren here, and yeah, I'll be joining this tour to basically show you around.
Okay,
Right.
so let's get started with the tour. So let's go up this road. So if we go up this road, we'll head to Parren, and then if we go back down, it leads to the west, right? I don't have my compass on, but
Yes. This road here leads to Lannisport, supposedly, but actually it hasn't been finished, so it cuts to at a certain point. And if you move east, because there's actually a fork on the road, it leads to House Clegane in their valley. Now here we can see a tower guarding the pass. It's in a bit of a rough condition, but well, it serves its purpose at this point.
yes.
It's mainly because the house, the current house that holds Parren lands is somewhat impoverished, despite the large amounts of silver that are still in the mountains here. So let's start about talking about House Parren, right? House Parren is a house that was created from the union of Andals and First Men. Of course, during the Andal invasion, it's because of the order of the then Lannister king for the joinment of Andal houses and First Men houses. And so House Parren was one of the houses that resulted from this, although now they're currently extinct.
And when did they go? They go extinct?
I think it was around the Great Spring Sickness. Of course, there's no records of this in canon, so we just had to figure this out because while current sources, although semi-canon, but because there's zero mentions of it, but in the World of Ice and Fire wiki it is mentioned that it is extinct. So this, along with the fact that Duncan the Tall seized their banner in Ashford, made us think that, key event that would lead to an extinction of any house at this point would be the Great Spring Sickness, so we figured out that it was probably around that time.
So right now, where are we? Since we've gotten to the this bridge and the stream here.
Right. So this is a small stone bridge that connects the two sides. And over there you can see a mining village. It's actually the second mining village in the valley, but it is the only one that is still active, in the sense that there's still active mines. Because the other one, the mines are dried out. So the mountains surrounding the castle of House Parren, well, they were at one point extremely rich in silver, but the Parren lords, due to their greed, again, this is headcanon. It's not true. There's no mentions about it whatsoever. So in our headcanon, we decided that, I decided, obviously. There's nobody else here. Actually, I was assisted with another builder in the beginning, but then he left. His name was Wylas Tyrell, and from Italy. Anyways, so we decided that the then Parren lords would actually be quite the bunch. Greedy, easy to anger, and essentially in many ways corrupt and generally not the best lords. So they ordered the extreme mining of the mountains, which essentially made the whole interiors of mountains like ant hills. So it's actually
They're built underground, basically.
no, obviously they're built underground, but there were initially many mines that were cut inside the mountain, but all of them, because of the extreme overmining, they ran dry. But there are actually, I think there are 2 still active mine shafts. It's the 2 larger ones that are still active, and there are others that are collapsed, and others that are just abandoned because there was no more ore. Now, this is a standard house in this village. There's actually quite a few that are built partially underground. It was like dug here, and then the one entrance was closed, and it's now a house.
Yeah, this looks really nice. Very, what's the word?
Troglodyte,
Yes.
maybe. But, yeah.
But yeah, I really like this, really much. It's like, very different from what we've seen on WesteroScraft walks so far, because like we're usually used to seeing these like houses with 4 walls, but like this is different, and I like it.
Well, I should tell you that you've passed through projects in which there are houses like this. Key among them, High Garden. There's actually troglodyte houses there.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that might have been something that was covered in parts 1 and 2, but I wasn't.
No, I don't think so. I don't remember this because actually I think Lucia and Kobe started from another direction actually, but I'm not quite certain. Anyways, so let's continue with the tour of the small village here.
Oh yes.
This is another house. It's actually partially in the hill. Now you'll notice here that the blocks that are used are not quite matching one another. For example, here, like we're using the rain-set storms, and then right next to it there's cobblestone. That's because the build is actually quite old. So it was before we had the rain-set stairs and walls, and parts of it, as you can see, I've updated, but some other parts I didn't quite. Anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So let's check the house of the foreman.
Mm-hmm.
Now, due to the first of all, here behind, the foreman actually has a terraced garden. It's actually quite fun.
Ooh.
To build. Yeah. Now, as I was saying, due to the harshness of the then Parren lords and their extreme greed to essentially to get more and more silver and get more and more money, the situation worsened in their lands, and many people turned to banditry or essentially people with some responsibility, like over here the mine foreman, who's actually not quite a foreman, it's actually a knight. He's like the yeoman of this village, like the headman of the village.
Mm-hmm.
So he's actually he's actually stealing a bit of the silver from the mines. As you can see here, he's hid a bit of it in his cellar.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I think let's continue on the tour. So this is
sure.
the mining village. So the main village is further down the road, right?
Yeah. Now, another point about the village is that if you notice up the mountains, there's actually a sept there. That's actually a hermitage. But we don't need to go over there. But people who will want to explore the lands can surely go. So as you can see, there is also houses of miners and places where the silver ore is smelted to make the first part of its what's the word? From
like the smelting process.
Yeah, the process to get from ore to get pure silver.
Oh,
So
to
the
refine
first
it.
part- exactly. The first part of refinement happens here, and then the ore is transported to another area, another place in the Westerlands where it is refined. Actually, this used to happen here, but due to a small revolt, the building, which is actually over there by the bridge, is actually ruined. Yeah, here. Can you see this?
It's in that direction.
Yeah, exactly. This one. This actually was where the final parts of the ore process was happening, but due to a small peasants' revolt, it actually burned down. And then, as you can see, the locals just ransacked it for masonry and used it for their own houses.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's continue on. So this way we are going to the main village of the lands of House Parren, and the road turns towards the castle, but as well as the village. So, any more details you'd like to know?
Maybe I'll ask later about who holds the Parren lands now, but for now, let's take a look at the village.
Sure. Now these are just some farmers' houses.
Is there any particular stylistic choices that you've taken? Because I'm just curious why use the timbers
at the time, because actually this is a 40-year-old build. At the time, another builder was leading House Vickery, so because I didn't have much experience at that point, I just more or so copied his build guide and used it here.
Mm-hmm.
But as you can see, it led to some very unique and nice houses.
Oh yeah, these look really nice. I'll say I like.
Yeah, the general inspiration is northern Italy, but well, when I was doing this, I didn't have much knowledge of that stuff, so. Well,
so is there anything?
Relied...
Oh yes. Sorry.
I mostly relied on other people to help me on this, but yeah. Anyways, this is the Black Lion Inn. This is it's not an inn, it's actually a tavern. It's the main hotspot of the village of House Parren.
Mm-hmm.
It's where all the people come together and have a drink, etc. Over here on the fireplace, you can see this is supposed to be like the head of a lion, black lion, because the black lion is the main, well, not the main. It's the animal represented on the Parren heraldry. So the banner of House Parren has, well, I actually don't remember it. So if you can show it on screen at this point, it would be good. Mm-hmm. So it has two lion heads, and then I think it's lines of red and white. Anyways, the tavern here actually provides some lodgings too, which is above here. So there are some available beds if a traveler wants to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, there's no inn in the town. Now, the other hotspot in the town is the town sept, which is on the other side, and we'll check it out shortly.
Mm-hmm.
This is the house of the proprietor of the tavern.
Interesting. I'm just gonna take a quick look inside. Looks like a basic house, so.
Yeah, but it's more. He's a bit more well off, compared to other peasants.
Mm-hmm. Since we're over here, can we take a look at that tower real quick? Because, I always like looking out from towers, and I just saw this
actually
one.
Part. It's actually. I think I actually made some sort of parkour to be able to get inside, but I'm not sure.
Hold up, are these? Oh, hold up.
Probably through the vines.
Hold up. No, that was me breaking immersion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyways.
But why is it barred? It does look abandoned, so.
Yeah, it is, because, because the Lords of House Parren essentially bled their land dry, obviously they themselves were dry afterwards, so they could not afford to maintain their own infrastructure inside their lands. So, for example, this tower here is ruined because of that reason. They could not afford to maintain it. If you see the castle as well, it's actually in a very sorry state. for the same reason again.
Yeah.
And that impoverishment actually passed to the current house that rules the lands. And the situation is quite dire.
Yeah.
So dire indeed that many people have actually fled the valley and settled elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Here we have a small outside area for the tavern.
Mm-hmm. Oh, where's
And
that?
here we have...
Oh, the sept that we were before I.
It's right there. It's over there.
Oh, okay. Then
Here we have the baker's house, which is actually a very nice one. He's actually a bit well off for the town. He's probably the richest guy here, actually.
Okay.
The baker.
Yeah, I. Oh, the bread oven's out here, right?
Yeah.
Really nice. And then on the inside, it's just the baker's living space.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, I think we can head over to the sept now before we head over
sure.
to the castle.
First of all, here we have a small dove coat for, whatever doves are used at this point.
Yeah, so like we kind of had talked about it at High Garden, where it's like it's the pigeon. Sorry, not the pigeons. The doves. They're either used for food
pigeons,
or for carrying messages shorter distances compared to ravens.
I don't think this is the situation here. So I think I remember what's the reason behind. If you see, there are. First of all, High Garden is there's a huge difference between the use of doves in High Garden with let's just say a completely out of the way village in the Westlands, because the region here is poor. It's nowhere near compared to High Garden.
That's fair. Yeah.
Despite the large castle, so essentially people here would mostly use doves, I think, for their poop as fertilizer, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So here we have the sept. It's actually a small sept, but quite ornate for its time. It's actually quite old too. And right outside there is the leech yard. The graves are essentially stone coverings on top. And then here we can witness an exhumation. So the septon, first of all, they would exhume the bones from the tomb, and then the septon would clean the bones with wine, and then they would be placed in a basket here, and then placed within the ossuary. The ossuary here, which essentially stores the bones of the dead after exhumation, because grave space is the space of the leech yard is quite small, so they'd need to reuse the graves.
Okay, makes sense. It's interesting to see an ossuary that's where they keep the bones in baskets, like in other ossuaries that I've seen and in real life. Like they're always like in these catacombs beneath the town, but
well, not always. For example, in small villages, the ossuary might just be a small building at the side of the graveyard, or it might just be a shed where they just throw all the bones inside.
Interesting. So, should we head over to the castle now?
Sure. A small point here. Can you see this building here?
Yes.
Here they're brewing illegal moonshine. The guy that owns the tavern does it. So essentially the lands are quite lawless. There's not much. Not much order here due to.
No, sorry, I fell behind. I just went to take a look inside the building.
All right. So, as I was saying, due to the impoverishment of the lords. Obviously, there is not enough money to pay soldiers, and for that same reason, the whole situation here is quite lawless. People have turned to banditry, as I was saying before, and others have abandoned the lands. So the Parren lords just try to essentially retain their hold of power. Hold to power or of power? No.
Yeah, they're trying to hold on to their power.
Yeah, exactly. They try to hold on to their power with cruelty.
Aha.
So yeah, there's frequent captures of peasants and executions, etc. Especially those that are thought to steal silver from the mines. Now, this is actually a gallows.
Very ominous how it's just in the way on the way to the castle.
Exactly. And over there, you'll see there's actually hanging heads. Not hanging, sorry. Heads on pikes.
Yes.
And another thing is that, can you see that ruined tower over there?
Yes.
So there is a cage hanging from a crane over there. It's supposed to be exposure, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we should point out that the peasants currently, if they didn't like the previous owners of the valley, they do not like the current ones even more.
Yes, and
so dissent is
sorry.
quite a constant situation here.
Yeah.
So popular dissent is quite common.
Yeah, I was going to ask, who holds Parren now if the Parrens are extinct?
Right. So in our headcanon, we said that after the extinction of House Parren in the Great Spring Sickness, Lord Titus Lannister held. Here you can see some nice heads. This one is quite fresh too. So Lord Titus Lannister held a tourney among various lords and knights, etc., to see to whom he would award the lands and castle of House Parren. Now, the tourney was won from one of his household knights, whose surname was Blackhill. He was a bastard, and for some reason, he was legitimized, but not totally. Well, no, actually, I don't think he was. No, he wasn't legitimized, but he was a bastard. And after he took over the land, he changed his surname to Blackhill. So he's currently one of the minor lords of the Westerlands, and quite a recent one too.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are on the lower bailey, which is divided, as you can see, in two halves.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the Grand Gatehouse.
Yeah. Oh, that's a nice exposed portcullis. Like I haven't seen a lot of these.
So, what do you want to see?
I mean, just where do you want to start? Like, because this does look like a pretty big castle.
Yeah, it's not small, yes. Here we have the stables.
Mm-hmm.
The lords, the horses of the lord are kept here. So I should also explain a bit about the backstory of the Parrens as well. So why would they be able to afford such a large castle, you might ask, while their lands are so compact? First of all, the first main reason is actually the rich silver mine. The second reason is actually supposedly, again to our headcanon, that their lands were a bit more extensive, and due to their wealth, they were able to maybe even bully some of the neighboring houses of landed knights for taxes, vassalage, and protection, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, being able to afford such large castle.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
So
this ruined tower over here.
Oh, yes. The ruined tower.
There's two main points of interest to check out in the lower bailey here. First is the old prison tower here, which is actually quite ruined. And the reason of its ruins actually it was hit by a trebuchet during a siege. Yes, and they just didn't repair it afterwards. And then the second point of interest is the old keep. The original castle was supposedly to be centered around this. Was supposedly centered around this courtyard here, and this is the old keep of the castle. The old center tower. And actually, the gatehouse is quite important to check.
Oh, yes. Hello.
And now, what do we say?
The tower, the keep.
Yeah. Anyways, I was meaning. Anyways, so here we have the old keep. Which is currently home to the Master at Arms and the Steward and also the Maester.
That's
here we have the old hall. So here we have the old castle hall. This is the throne then of the Lord. And it's actually currently used as a strategy room. Hence you can see the map of Westeros there, and this table. I'm seeing here that there's a lot of stuff to fix. Anyways, I'll do this at a later point, I think. Anyways, so this is the old hall. Now, if we go up this staircase here, first of all, this staircase first leads down to the dungeons. Well, it's one dungeon, and it's actually the torture chamber because the dungeons were in the prison tower. But well, we know what happened there. So, yeah, the torture chamber was carved essentially into the rock and was built at other points. Now, as I was saying, because it is connected with the old prison tower. Can you see this bit here?
Yes.
This is actually the old entrance, but it's closed. It's
buried.
It's sealed.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's sealed first of all, and then because of debris and other inside that fell through the staircase from above, they just sealed it, and it hasn't been used since. The torture chamber, as you can see, is quite modest. Just a St. Andrew's cross here, and then a torture chair or whatnot. To extract information essentially from local peasants mainly. Right. And in the next floors, there's the rooms of the Master at Arms, and also a small sitting room, and then on the above floor is the room of the Chamberlain and the Maester.
Oh yes.
Here's the small privy. And from here we have a small waiting room. This is actually supposed to be the waiting room of the Master at Arms here. And then,
yeah, it's just like I'm still I'm still kind of like amazed how we use anvils on the server.
Yeah, it's it's quite creative because we both use them as anvils and also as armor. But well, we don't have armor blocks, so.
Well, I mean, not yet. Maybe it will be in the next update.
Maybe. But currently we don't, so we just use what we got. And here we have the room of the Chamberlain. He's actually supposed to be this door basically. You can see it's actually a bit cramped, but well, that's because the tower is diagonal and
yeah, it's usually hard.
I wasn't too good a builder there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not hard, but I grew more experience from that time, so yeah.
Yeah.
He's a Seret here. The Chamberlain is from House Seret, some third son of some minor cousin. He's actually an homage to the builder that built Silver Hill, and he helped me actually to fix a lot of parts of the castle in the beginning, the style mainly.
Just like an aside, Silver Hill is still be in work in progress, or at least a redo.
Well, yeah, the builder is not active anymore, I think. From what I know, that is, I'm not certain. So it's probably abandoned, but I don't know if it has been declared as such. In any case, it's actually the largest project in the Westerlands, so it shouldn't be taken lightly.
So is this Maesters?
Yes, exactly. This is the bedroom of the Maester. And right above we have the rookery.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I accidentally placed the torch.
No problem. So here we have the rookery of the castle. And this is the flag that you can see from the valley. This is the first star that you can see from here, so yeah. Anyways, let's go now down below to the walls. So any other parts you'd like to see?
I think we're good in this tower. What other points of interest are there in the castle?
In the lower bailey there is also the house of and the workshop of the smith. It's actually quite nice work. And then there is the granaries, and also the walls if you want to check. Now the other towers are...
Oh, sorry. I think we should save some for anyone who wants to explore Parren. So, like,
sure.
Yeah.
Now, let's go to the house of the smith, and then do you want to check the granary or?
Yeah.
No.
Let's take a look at the granary after we take a look at the smith.
So here we have the smith. It's actually quite large compared to other castles you might have seen. So the whole building, that is, because here we have the workshop, etc. And then the rest of it is just his house. Here we have his kitchen. And then above is the living spaces. Well, the interiors could be better, but
well, it's certainly better than anything I could build at the moment. Like, I still...
say this.
Yeah, I mean, I still need the experience.
I mean, yeah, anyways. Here we have a shooting range. And as you can see, there's actually masons at work. They're trying to repair the castle, or parts of the castle, as well as they can.
Oh, that's a really large crack over there.
Yeah, the castle is in a very bad shape. There is no money to repair it. The situation is dire in general. So, yeah, the work that happens is actually quite slow. No, come from here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's where they they get grain, and then this is where they put it in.
Yeah, they dump it from here, and then here you have the granaries, the grain storage here. As you can see, we use sand. This was before pebbles.
I think a lot of builds still use sand, if I recall. I don't think I've seen anyone use pebbles for flour or grain just yet.
Not flour.
Yeah, grain.
You think? No, I've used pebbles as grain many times. You can see it in Red Mountains village. It's
Okay,
actually quite standard at this point, I think. Because the pebble, as you can see, it has this sort of a grainy look.
yeah.
It's not as smooth as the sand. So it's much more accurate to use
The pebbles.
pebbles, yes.
Okay.
Which you can see here. For example, I usually use this sort of pebble, the Westerlands pebbles, as grain.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I can totally see it now.
Yeah, exactly. Now let's move on to the inner bailey and the principal residence of the current House Blackhill, formerly of House Parren. Now, you'll also ask me, why do they not have any money? Obviously because they spend it on frivolous things. So as you can see, the whole residence of the then parent is this whole palatial structure here with the large hall inside, and then the tower, and then the central tower. The kitchens is the main kitchens up there, and then also the tower over here is used as quarters for guests. So for their status, it's quite opulent. Hence the and you know, because opulence obviously costs. Well, yeah. Let's start from the sept. It's a small sept, mainly. It's quite old and has been repaired a few times. As you can see, it does not have the shape of a proper sept, but that's probably because the original building was just square and they just didn't bother to rebuild it completely and just added the nave, the apse here, not nave.
Oh, shoot. One sec. Okay, there we go.
What happened? All good?
Yeah, my internet just...
Well, it happens sometimes.
Well, I'm back, though, so...
Right. So, what parts would you like to explore?
Why don't
There
we
is
just...
the belt.
why don't we just, like, explore the keep? Because, like, again, like, I want to leave some places for people to explore for themselves.
Right. Well, I do want to get you to the vaults at some point because there's actually a very interesting view from here.
Oh, yes.
But what?
Is that
What?
wheat?
It's wheat.
How? I am confused.
I have no to play as this. I don't know.
Well,
Anyways.
yes. The keep.
Right. Well, not keep. Keep isn't exactly the correct word. It's more so of a palatial residence.
Oh, yes.
The main tower could be considered a keep in some sense, but it's not quite as fortified. This is the Great Hall.
Definitely palatial.
Yeah, quite. This is the throne of the current of the Lord of the Lands, and above there is a gallery where minstrels would play. And also, I think the bedroom of the Septon is over there too. The entrance should be from here. And here we have the kitchens, and above the kitchens there is the rooms of the servants for the kitchens. Now, would you want to check the gallery, or should we move to the more nice rooms?
Let's take a look at the gallery first, since you brought up the Septon's chambers.
Well, it's actually quite modest, so... Well. from here minstrels would play songs, etc. And here we have the bedroom of Septon. He's a bit of a drunkard, so well.
Yes, we have
Yeah.
the flagon right here.
Exactly. He's just laying down and drinks a bit of wine. Yeah, it's quite poor. It's not very well taken care of. Now here we have the rooms, well, not the rooms, more so the beds of the servants. Actually, you cannot pass. Oh no, yeah, you can.
Yeah, it's really.
So it's cramped.
Yes.
It's not good. And also these wattle divides. One moment, the cobweb.
Oh,
me.
yes.
Anyways, yeah. So this wattle divides I did here is actually quite outdated. So, I mean, anyways. A bit of some carpet kept here. Table.
So it also acts as the storage room too.
Well, not exactly. The larger storeroom for all utilities.
Yes.
Let's say utilities for the hall and for for feasts, etc. They're actually kept in the cellar below. So we'll see them in a bit.
Okay.
So here is actually a small garden. It's quite hidden because the walls, as you can see, they make those tips here, and this part has been utilized as a small garden, while in the other part it's actually used as a granary. Now, would you like me to tell you a bit about the inspiration behind the castle?
Oh yes, if you could.
So the inspiration for the castle is the fortress of Heptapyrion in Thessaloniki, in Greece. It's actually quite an interesting. I cannot, I cannot speak. It's an interesting shape, so I used it mainly for its shape, while the style is mainly Italian. And here we have the arm of the Lord. So you can see there is suits of armor lining the walls and tapestries showcasing hunting scenes. Hunting scenes. Yeah. There's also a fireplace here. And also there's a small shrine to the father, the mother, and the warrior, of course.
Is there a reason why? Oh, sorry. Is there a reason why the other is there a reason why the maiden, the crone, and the smith aren't here?
Yeah, because it's mainly a shrine for the nobles here, and so you have included the justice of the father, which is a key aspect of all lords, because they do have to what's the word?
Administer justice.
Yeah, exactly. To administer justice among the people. Obviously, the bravery and the warrior spirit of the warrior, and the mercy and the motherly nurturing of the mother. So these three aspects, yeah, exactly. They're quite key among nobility, in my opinion.
Okay.
And especially because this tower is used mainly by the lord and his son. So the bedroom of the heir and the bedroom of the lord are in this tower. Well, actually there is another bedroom above, but we'll see it in a bit. So there's 3 noble bedrooms essentially, as well as 2 more on the guest tower. Now here we have a small sitting room for the lord and his family. It's nothing fancy, as you can see. The entrance to the walls here is blocked. And here it's actually another shrine to the father and the warrior. And this is just a bed of some cousin or minor son, not mainly, maybe the second son or third son. A small bedroom, but it has its purpose,
Yes.
Now let's move on. Now we'll go upstairs. Upstairs is the Lord's bedroom, the Lord's chamber, and right above it is the chamber of the heir. So this is the Lord's. He has a small desk here, his armor, obviously, and his bed. Quite an ornate one. As you can see also, the other small bit here is that, well, not actually, the bed would have been repainted. I confused myself here for a moment. I thought that I had used the Parren colors to showcase that they just kept the bed, they just didn't change it. But obviously they did, they just repainted to their colors, which is a red tower, the banner of House Blackhill, which I obviously created because there's nothing of the sort. It's a red tower on top of 7 hills. Because, yeah, on top of 7 hills, Black Hills too. Hence the name. So Blackhill, 7 Black Hills, and then the red tower on top, signifying the castle atop this massive rock.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think that's one of those ones that I could probably make an unofficial sigil for this video.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it sounds simple enough.
Yeah, it is. And there's also a red line on top.
Noted.
Yeah. It's quite simple. It is, after all, a house of a bastardly house, essentially, and of a virgin too. So the heraldry is quite simple. Now here we have the bedroom of the heir. It's also quite simple, as you can see. Not much finery. Mainly because at this point they cannot afford it, and a lot of stuff would have been sold for some initial incomes, and then the bedrooms would have been furnished as slightly as possible. Hence the bare stone walls, or the simple but larger bed. And now there is one more floor above. And this here is just the top of the tower. It sees no use whatsoever. Over here you can see that the roof is leaking, hence the barrel here.
Oh yeah, I can see the darker wood. Actually,
Yeah,
that
and
might
also
be some...
the droplets.
Oh yeah, this actually might be something I might use for Dunstanbury, because Glitch and I started building that or rebuilding it, and yeah, I mean that it would be interesting to to have that.
Yeah, certainly. If you want to show that the castle has seen better days, sure, why not? But to be honest, to be completely honest, I don't think you need it. Because think about it, the Manderleys, even from before their flee to the north, they were obviously one of the most wealthy houses in the reach. They had a lot of wealth, and what the castle essentially signifies is the hold over the land, which is the same thing as you can see here. So essentially, the old house perishes or leaves or whatever, and then the castle and the lands are gifted to a new one, because essentially the castle goes with the land. It's the sign of the land. It's the I don't know how to exactly explain it, but essentially
yeah, I mean I understand
goes with
what
the
you're
land.
trying to say though, because I
Because
can't
you have
really...
the castle and then the land inside, and then you have the land assigned to it. So yeah.
Yeah, there's probably some
And,
headcanon that we've come up that I'll explain it later. But for just so we can end the video. Can we take a look at the walls? I mean, I'll try to see like
Sure.
with my.
And also, if you want to see the cellars and the crypts, or at least the cellar.
Oh yeah, sure. Since we're here.
Do you want to see the crypt too?
Maybe we'll just take a quick look at it.
All right. So here we have this actually the silver storage.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't look like
From
there's a
here,
lot.
Yeah, exactly. There's not much. Mainly because part of it is stolen and another part is just goes directly to Lannisport.
Mm-hmm.
And also another part to the coffers of the of the Blackhill Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So here we have some banners kept in the case of a feast.
Mm-hmm.
And here we have the store of the wine, and as you can see, part of it is spilled, mainly because some careless servant probably just pried the barrel open and then the wine spilled on the floor.
Mm-hmm. It's actually a really nice use for the dark red.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Like, I never would have thought to use it like that.
And neither would I, but I saw it somewhere else and I said, oh, I'm stealing this. And I just stole it.
That's fair.
Yeah, exactly. Because usually it's blocks like this that I can't. I'm rolling up my tongue here. Anyways, these blocks never really see any use, so you never think of them, you know?
Yeah. That makes sense.
And then you see them used like this, and then you're like, oh, I want a piece of this action.
Sorry, my game crashed again.
Yeah, I'm figuring this out. Anyways, from down here is it's the vault of the castle, and also the crypts. And as you can see, the vault is actually quite bare. There's not a lot of stuff. There's a couple of chests, a bit of silver stored away, and also the old armor and regalia of the Parren lords.
Mm-hmm.
So all these bits of armor are basically the various suits of armor that were stored and that were kept in the castle during the time of the Parrens. And there's helmets, some heirloom weapons, and they just placed them all here because there's nowhere else to put them.
Mm-hmm.
And from down here, again, the Black Lion. This is the main standard of the house. You can see also the Black Lion in the gatehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Small shrine to the stranger.
Mm-hmm.
Cobweb. Anyways, and here we have the central crypt. Most of these old tombs are of the parents, and the newer ones are of the current Blackhills. You can see the newer ones because they're made with lighter stone, and they're usually candles or flowers to commemorate the dead.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the tomb of the founder.
Mm-hmm.
The founder of, well, probably not the founder of House Parren, but probably the builder of the castle.
Mm-hmm.
And here on the sides there are ossuaries or crypts. They're both tombs and placements of bones.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now let's go to the walls and we can end the video there.
Yes, preferably before my game crashes again.
Yeah, I know. Anyways.
Okay, there we go. So far, a really nice build, even though it is like
40 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at certain times I've done small updates, you know. First of all, one moment. The main update I did was during post-approval, so I changed a lot of stuff during that period because I've changed my mind over several choices of mine. But I didn't fix everything, as you can see. And then the second part was mainly fixing stuff with the cycler, you know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, to make the cracks more better looking, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Now this tower mainly hosts soldier of the guard. It's nothing fancy. There's a few beds below, the small armory.
Mm-hmm.
Because actually the prison tower used to hold the armories, and then because it's no longer in use, well, the whole armory situation is split around the other various towers. This is the
Mm-hmm.
bell tower here.
Mm-hmm. I think I saw the yes, the pulley for the
Yeah,
main bell here. Oh, this is actually a really good bell design.
I know, right?
Yeah, like it actually does look like some of the bells I've seen.
I always try to make the bells to be able to be rung, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because in some other builds you might notice that they just put this design of a bell at a belfry and then put nothing else at all. Like there is no pulley or there's no rope or no system for it to be able to be rung, etc. So it's just this.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously such a bell cannot be used.
Mm-hmm.
But people would just say that it is a limitation of Minecraft. But well, and so here we are on the main bastions. Now, well, let's not look at this valley. This valley over there is better for people to explore for themselves because there's a few small secrets around.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as we were saying about the cruelty of the Parren lords, as you can see over there, is actually another,
Gallows.
yeah, not gallows, for the cages.
Oh, that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
see.
Now here you can see the whole view of the lower mountains,
Mm-hmm.
and from the other side is actually the larger mountain in the area, which I think might be one of the largest in the Westlands as well.
Mm-hmm.
And from here you can also see the two abandoned mine shafts and the second mining village.
Oh, I see. Yeah, like there's the houses, and then over there's the entrance to the mine shaft. That's actually, or
Yeah.
mine shafts. That's pretty interesting. I don't think I saw this when I was flying over the first time.
And yeah, and there's also small stone houses of shepherds in the mountains too. You can probably see one of them over there, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um.
That's about it.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds so. Like it's actually like I really like this castle. I will say. But yeah, let's end the video before I crash again. But yes, thank you.
Certainly.
Yes,
Right.
thank you so much for following us
You're
on
welcome.
these tour of Parren. Thank you, Ant, for showing us around Parren, and of course you can
Thank
check
you.
out the rest of the castle at warp/warp Parren. If you want to explore more.
Small point. There's also another village with another very nice tower and a sceptry. It's a small one, but yeah,
Well, I mean, it's worth exploring. But
yeah, certainly.
I'll leave it to you to explore it. But again, thank you so much. I am Chris the Gardener, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.